My piece what it is. So I did this video yesterday, but I wanted to go in a little bit deeper than what I did. I want to show you a few things about this word Semitic, since we got the brother Nick Cannon getting accused of being anti-Semitic. So I just want to show y'all something that y'all might not know about what that word is, like what it really means. You understand what I'm saying? Because essentially we operate on a bunch of false narratives, and we really need to understand what's going on, especially us as a so-called black people, if we want to get our stuff together. So the word Semitic, right? Anti-Semiticism, right? Semiticism, or what have you, relating to or denoting a family of languages. Okay, so when we say Semitic, we're talking about languages. All right, we're really not talking about people. We're talking about languages. Okay, so keep going. That includes Hebrew, Arabic, Aramaic, and other certain languages such as Phoenician, Akkadian, constituted the main subgroup of the Afro-Asiatic family. Afro-Asiatic family. The Semitic languages are part of the Afro-Asiatic families. Okay, who has afros? All right, black people, so-called black people. Okay, you all do people with the afros. You dark-skinned so-called aboriginal, unfunctionist peoples of the planet. Semi-Semitic peoples or Semitic cultures, very important, was the term for an ethnic, cultural, or racial group. See all three of those? Okay, you see how things get grouped in together? Listen, they're going to tell you. The terminology is now largely obsolete outside the grouping Semitic languages, in quotes, in linguistics. Okay, we're not talking about people, we're talking about languages, and truthfully we're talking about culture, and I'm going to show you that in a minute. First used in 1770s. Now these Hebrew people supposed to live 2,000 years ago, right? 3,000, 4,000 years. This was first coined in 1770. Okay, by members of this school. This biblical terminology for race, was derived from Shem, which is the son of Noah, one of the three sons of Noah in the book of Genesis, together with the parallel terms Hamites and Japhethites, whatever. In archaeology, the term is sometimes informally as a kind of shorthand for ancient Semitic speaking people. Once again, we are talking about a language, ethnicity and race. The term Semitic in a racial sense was coined by members of that school, which I imagine is German. I haven't looked it up, and I'm not fin to. You can if you want to. In the 1770s. Okay? Other members of that school coined a separate term, Caucasian, 1780s. These people are not who you think they are. They have adopted titles that do not originally belong to them. This one being one of them. I'm not going to show you in this video because I don't feel like going to pull it up. These terms were used and developed by numerous other scholars over the next centuries. In the early 20th century, that's the 1900s. That's the 1900s. I'm talking 100 years ago. The racialist classification of Charleston C. Coon included the Semitic peoples in the Caucasian race. All of this was created 300 years ago. It's not real. The racial classifications included the Semitic peoples in the Caucasian race, similar appearance to the Indo-European, Northwest Caucasian, and whatever that is, speaking peoples. Due to interweaving of language studies and cultural studies, the term also became applied to the religions, ancient Semitic and Abrahamic, and ethnicities of various cultures associated by geographic and linguistic distribution. Do you understand what I just told you? The term also came to be applied to religious people, came to be. And this was all in the 19th century. And this was when the Holocaust, because of the Holocaust thing and the Hitler thing. Okay, so the anti-Semitism, the term anti-Semite came. All right, Jews, 19th century, man. 19th century, man. It's not, man. These people, Revelations. All right, I had to go get this real quick. These people are not who they claim to be, man. Look, Revelations 2:9 from the Bible tells you, I know thy works, the tribulations and poverty. Okay, who they talking to? But thou art rich. Who they talking to? And I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogues of Satan. Who runs the media? Who gets people fired for expressing their First Amendment right? Okay? Alright? Synagogue of Satan. Right there in your Bible. So, I said earlier, and I went ahead and found it. I said they wasn't really Caucasians. Okay? Check it out. This is from, I believe, an Oxford dictionary. I can't tell you which one. I don't remember specifically. Okay? But you see, a Caucasoid considered to be includes groups of people indigenous to or inhabiting Europe or Northern Africa. Okay? Such as skin color varying from very light to brown. How many pale skinned Europeans are brown? What? And hair wavy or curly. Okay? Okay? Caucasus Indus, the ancient name for Hindu Kush. Oh, we not Kushites. Okay, we know Hindu is ancient India. Oh, we not Indians. Right? Okay, so they really not even Caucasians. Okay? They really not even that. Okay, so I had to get to the book. So we'll go to this book right here. Show you what I'm talking about. Yeah, that didn't go right. Ooh, I just spoiled it. Damn, I suck. I do. But, yeah, I fucked that up. I didn't want you to see that just yet. Bam. Alright, so in this book, it's talking about Semitization. Say, Semitization was quite different. Was a quite different matter. It was the urban civilization of the ancient syncretic East, the Persian Empire and the Hellenistic kingdoms, carried beyond the confines of Semitic territory along several channels and by several different means. Foremost among these was the Arab tongue. Okay, the Arab tongue, because, let me show you real quick. When we say Arab, we talk about the Arabs. Once again, the term Arabization is to be understood in purely linguistic sense. Okay, when we say Arabs, when we say Semitic people, we're talking about a language that these people adopted and called themselves by the language. We are the people who named the language as Moors. You understand? No important infusion of Arab, see how they got it in quotes? Arab blood took place, and very few special Arab specifically Arab traditions were introduced into the newly conquered territories. The process, often mistakenly termed Arabization, is really Semitization. Okay? Okay? One and the same. Orientalismization, the adoption of a set of moral concepts, taboos, cosmogonies, mental and practical systems belonging to the Semitic, or more accurately Semitized population of Syria, Mesopotamia, and especially the section of these populations which represent the direct and motive force. Okay, so you see, Arabization is really Semitization. I just showed you. Let me finish that. I want to show you that before I go here. Semitization was about an ancient culture. Okay, the Arab tongue was the religious language of the Quran, the language of government, the official and administrative language, the language of large-scale commerce, foreign trade, language of literature, scientific civilization. Great Indian and Chinese ideas came to us most part in Arabic translations, i.e. by means of a Semitic, okay? So you say Semitic, you understand you talking about a language. You're talking about a set of languages of a set of people. And really what you're talking about is a culture. You understand what I'm saying? Semitization Orientalization is civilization. You're talking about the culture appeared to develop initially in the cities. Okay? So Islam was the religion. Arabic was the language. And Semitization was the culture. You see what I'm saying? So when you say Hebrew, when you say more, it's talking about the same thing. It's talking about the same people. The culture is the Hebrew culture of the Bible. Okay? The culture is called Islam. Isef Law and Master. You see what I'm saying? They call it religion because they looking at it from their point of view. Our spiritual practices was our religion to them, but we knew it was our spiritual practices. You see what I'm saying? Which was metaphysics and occultisms. All right, so the Jew and Negro, like straight up and down, no questions asked. And let me pause. I gotta find specific what I'm looking for. All right, so as soon as it pop up, it's from that book. The original Jews were therefore short. Hold on, let me show. African race was called them. The original Semites were those which spread around the Mediterranean, probably on the northern and eastern shores. The Hamites were then an early offshoot of Africa. It is but a step from the Berber and Egyptian to the Sudanese, and from these to the true Negro. All these types are first cousins of the Scandinavian all the way to the Congo. The original Jews were therefore short, dark people with long head types. The original Jews and Negroes were then descended from the same father. The evidence of intermarriage you mentioned is a universal phenomenon, and the close affinity between Hamitic and Semitic speech and between the northern Hamitic people and the Semites shows a close relationship as you surmise. Okay? Okay? Jews, Negroes, same thing. So how can we be anti-Semitic? It's literally impossible unless we are a self-hating black man or woman. Okay, now peep this. Our ethnologists have remarked the striking similarities between the resemblance of the Toltec, hope it goes to the right one, and Egyptian civilization. You hear that? The Toltec, watch. In art, agriculture, industry, and worship, the elements of knowledge, they are a resemblance to the Egyptian models. Let us add to this the still more recycling claim of some reputable ethnologists that the Eskimo tribes found in North America have many traits in their language, habits, physical features resembling the Hebrews. And coupled to this statement, the claim of other historians and ethnologists that they were probably a remnant of the 10 lost tribes of Israel. Noting the apparent similarities of these Egyptian inhabitants of Central America, the Toltecs, which there already recognized racial intermixture with the Hebrews. Considering the resemblance of the Eskimos mentioned above, when we note the unquestionable Negro features of the Eskimo, we at once have a further proof of the contention claimed by this book. The argument sets forth by the Hebrew writers that their race has been kept aloof from it. Okay, going on smoke. But okay, you see that Eskimos, black people, the Toltecs, Egyptians, same people, same culture. The Hebrews, same people, same culture. Do you get the thing here? They lied to you about your entire history because your shit is great, man. It really is. Like, we really were. Well, I mean, word like that's fucked up. We really are a great people. You understand what I'm saying? Like, the fact that we in our lowest state right now and we still have a major influence on the world just shows who and what we are, man. It really does. So let me keep going, because now I'm not through. It goes on. Okay? Herodotus shows that the origin of the alphabet was Phoenician, Semitic, as does Pliny, and taken directly from the Egyptian forms. Okay, as that person and the classic authorities from Plato to that guy agree. The Phoenicians, Jews, The Phoenicians, or Jews, were great travelers, aptly called colossal peddlers of the old world by Dr. Huxley. Thus, we have a connecting link here, further proving their early relationship. Okay? Accepting the table given elsewhere in this work as a correct division of races, which it is not. I wasn't sure that, but I don't feel like going through it. We find the Old Testament filled with the Egyptian words in the Semitic form. We find the Old Testament filled with Egyptian words in the Semitic form. And we know that the Jews grew from a race of only 17 souls to over 3 million of people. And you know what? For all you Hebrew Israelites, this one line right here really kills your whole statements. Your whole philosophy that you are somebody above some Egyptian or Kemite. When this tells you right here, we know the Jews grew from a race of only 17 souls to over 3 million people in Egypt. So that means that all of them is Egyptian. Cut off the gas. It is seen that the Phoenicians as well as the Assyrians were in part members of the Hebrew Semitic family. It is elsewhere shown that the Phoenicians were pioneer settlers among almost all other races and intermarried indiscriminately with them. Their blending with the Egyptian Hamitic people is a part of history's record. The Hebrew alphabet was of itself of Egyptian origin. Let me read that again. The Hebrew alphabet was of itself of Egyptian origin. So when you say I'm talking Hebrew, I'm speaking Hebrew, I'm reading Hebrew, you're really reading Egyptian. So your Bible came from Hebrew writings, which is Egyptian writings. Oh my God, please. Their language, customs, and education were of Egyptian origin, and it is a surprising fact that many of the identical symbols of Egyptian ideograms were found even among the earlier races of Mexicans. Like a rock star. They rock star, they sing certain notes, like hit them certain hard, like goddamn, do y'all see this? It's right there. The older books tell more the truth. Alright? Alright, so I got this from this book called Gods Before the Cataclysm. And I got this from Wikipedia or some shit I don't remember. So the Phoenician alphabet was developed, blah, blah, blah. The Greek alphabet that forms the basis of all European alphabets was derived from a Phoenician one. Okay? So everything English, right? From Phoenician. I just showed you Phoenician is Egyptian. So you see, and here it says, I visited the Phoenician minings, spreading their culture, influence, shaping, creating, and recreating for a period of more than 1,000 years. The Yopi were Phoenicians or strongly influenced by the Phoenicians. The Olmecs were black African Phoenicians, but see how they try to put it? Or escaped Phoenician slaves. The Caribs were strongly Phoenician influence. Even their boats were basically Phoenician. So you see, Phoenicians was Olmec. So you see why I said the Mexicans had the Egyptian culture. Okay? So you see, it's all the one and the same people. Okay? Oh, hold on. And just to confirm you that, in that book he shows, the Phoenician finds in Guerrero and Veracruz that had to be explicated. I won't feel like I'm saying that right. Before I would feel ready to begin to trace the Brazilian rumor legend down to the sources, I had to know exactly what to look for. The pre-Columbian dimensions of Black Africa. There were, for example, the terracotta heads from Guerrero of Negroes. Okay? In Mexico, Negro heads. Associated with these Negro heads was a holy gallery of portrait heads wearing exaggerated fezzes. These, I felt, were Phoenician men wearing fezzes in Mexico. Okay? In stone. Okay? Ancient shit. So to sum it up, I really just want to share this. This isn't necessarily about this, but I just want to show you this. Besides, it must be plainly denied. The repudiated and repudiated as demonstrated fact to the contrary, that climate is entirely responsible for the fact of the Negro's darkness or the Caucasian's blondness. It has been clearly shown that the Negro who has not intermarried has retained his intense darkness, even in temperate zones. And the best refutation of this old-time theory is found in the Eskimo who, although for at least 500 years resident in the Arctic region and that where the sun only shines 6 months during a full year, still remains black. So what he's saying? He's saying that can't no nigga move from Africa to Europe and stay in Europe for 1,000 years and become a white person. It's not how that works, okay? It's called Neanderthal DNA, which I explained in my last video. So I just want to show you this for my women, especially my black women. Well, that's all who I'm always talking to. Check this out. Let us take the case of Cleopatra, accredited by history as the most gorgeous and lovely of womanhood. Dark, of Greco-Egyptian blood, she was assuredly Negro, for we find she possesses the thick, sensual lips and other unfailing hand marks of the African, while her features indicate an infusion of Jewish blood, and her conduct in her political life showed us an unusual affinity with the Hebrews. Cleopatra, you know the one, if you Google it right now, they got some white chick on there, okay? A Negro. And, what did it say? What did it say? The most gorgeous and lovely of womanhood, accredited by history. Okay? So you understand? Be natural. You don't need to look like them goddamn people. They trying to look like you. And this is just for my conspiracy theories to sum it up. Check this out. Now, remember, this book was written in, I don't remember, like 19 something, I can't remember. But anyway, look at this, what it says. From the earliest days of race, when many said by some to have been from the loins of Ham, while credited as the offspring of Shem by equally eminent historians, first occupied the throne of Egypt, to the days when Joseph formed the first money, stock, and land trust by affecting a corner of all the food products of Egypt's fertile country and requiring of his Jewish brethren their lands, money, and in many instances their families as remuneration to the Pharaoh, even to the days of the modern Rothschilds, the Jews have been prominent in the conduct of state in nearly every nation. Now remember, this book is called The Jews Are Negro. And he's telling you the Rothschilds are Jews. So, who is the Rothschilds? I'm gonna leave that out there, let y'all figure that out. Peace.